Hi, this is Connie Galley with another edition of Shelter Tales. We're here to promote adoption, disseminate information, and hopefully increase and encourage funding for nonprofit no-kill shelters. With me today is Russ Bergeron from the Feral Cats, I'm saying this, the Feral Cats of East Windsor, correct, Russ? And I had an experience meeting Russ a while ago when he came to trap, release, and neuter animals where I work. So tell me how, the Feral Cats started. I mean, that's certainly a specialty, Russ.
Oh, for me, it actually showed up in my backyard.
So literally came to you.
Came to me. I'm a dog guy.
Okay.
And my wife at the time was feeding 3 strays because hers had disappeared. A really bad snowstorm. After 3 weeks, I figured he wasn't coming back. He did come back. These were girls. Springtime came, 6 little babies come out. Now,
he was active.
That counts as 1. I had 10.
Oh, my God.
And by the time I found out who would help me, how I could get help, there were 17 in the backyard.
Good Lord.
And the last 7 we tamed up pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
And, and everybody's fixed and vaccinated now, and the colony stayed steady. And then over the few years, the colony slowly goes down, which is the sad part, because you get attached to them after a little bit. You've been feeding them for a year or 2, and then all of a sudden he doesn't come back for supper.
Okay.
But that's part of...
That's part of the cycle of life. And with ferals, you can't really, I think, what is the age range you think that after they pass a certain age range? Because when you trapped and released, and trapped, neutered, and released Mama back at a place where I worked, they just don't come near you. So there's an age range, isn't there, where a feral kitten is going to be a feral cat, that you're not going to be able to socialize it much. I mean, one of my coworkers actually adopted one of the kittens from that batch. She loves him, and he loves her from a distance, So,
Yes.
So is there like a time when you've got a feral kitten in the backyard? It's like, well, it's really not going to work for you as a house cat.
6 to 8 weeks, you can turn them very easy like any other cat.
Mm-hmm.
After 8 weeks, 8 to 12 weeks, they're a challenge. You might end up with a shy cat. I've turned cats around that are over 3 months old, but they'll always be shy. But, some of them, like this time of year, I'll keep a 3-month-old for a little while because I really don't want to release him because he's not making the winter.
Right,
and I've done all
right.
that work,
Right,
getting him fixed,
right.
and I know he's not going to make it.
Right.
So I try to keep them and see if I can get them in. I've got a couple barn homes that I'm placing a couple of very shy cats that, that's a better existence than what they had. So
Absolutely.
You never know.
You do what you can, absolutely, and you do an awful lot. One of the quotes from your website, which really touched me when I went on it, was one of the greatest human tragedies is to see a need and to do nothing about it. And you're certainly doing lots about it, and that's a very good quote. One of the other pieces of information on your website is that ferals are the direct descendants of human disregard. I'm paraphrasing, but direct result of human disregard, because we all see, you go on vacation, there are cats and kittens that are, people take them, don't want them anymore, they leave them by the side of the road. And a lot of vacation places you go to are overrun with feral cats because of that. They think they can dump them, or they get tired of having the cats or kittens and they leave them behind when they go. So what you're basically doing is making sure that the population doesn't grow with the ones that you know about and you can find.
Right.
So they're not increasing the population, because it is a miserable existence for these animals if they're not trapped, released, and trapped, neutered, and released. And when you trap them, I remember going to a shelter once in Jersey, I think it was, and they all had, I'm a dummy sometimes, and I'm like, why do they all have squared off ears? Is there something going around the shelter that all their ears, and I actually asked her, what's with their ears? She goes, oh, the snip-eared babies, they're all, trapped, and when we release them, we don't want somebody to pick them up again and do it again, because they've already been done once. That's a sign that they've already been fixed or spayed or neutered. So that little clip or the ear, is that how you do it when you release them back into the populations? I mean, how do you?
Yes, that's so we can tell from a distance, or when I'm doing a colony of 15, I've already gotten 10 that I released, the last 5. It's hard to see from a distance. But, your binoculars, But
who's there?
You can tell who's been fixed, who's not been fixed. Okay. And it's become a universal sign also, so that other people, animal control, can tell, okay, these animals are vaccinated. the vaccinations are only good for a year, but the feral's life in most
Very short.
areas is 2.
Yeah, that's very true. And the vaccinations are basically for distemper and rabies, which I understand is becoming more of a problem within the wildlife population here. And the wildlife is moving into the populated areas because we're taking a lot of their habitat. So you're going to be running into more and more wildlife. And if you have animals that are outside animals, you just do have to be concerned about that. How old would a baby be, a young cat be, before they can breed? I know it's probably very young.
We fix it 4.
4 months old?
In the wild, they will start
Wow.
at around 5 months, even be earlier than that, depending on how quick they mature and how the environment is that they're in.
Babies having babies.
Babies having babies.
Ah, that's tough.
And they can do 3 to 4 litters a year.
Wow, wow,
And,
wow.
you know, if you don't think fixing them makes a difference,
It
trust
does,
me.
yeah.
And it usually starts with the one woman feeding a couple of cats, and then next thing you know, she's got 10.
I gotta say, because, you know, when you have a cat come to your door mowing and meowing and suffering, and you go, this is a hungry animal. I mean, I had one, I opened my garage door during 2 winters ago when we had that horrible, the blackouts and everything was frozen.
Yep.
He lived in my garage. Of course, he didn't know what a litter box was. And I felt bad because I would take warm water and food into the garage because he was absolutely feral, and I knew that he was not a well cat. And I took water and food into the garage, and the water would ice over. You know, so I'd probably be out there a couple times a day giving him warm water. But it's hard not to feed something that you know is hungry. It's
Compassion.
heartbreaking. It's compassion. I mean, even if I extend your life by 3 days, I fed you, you're not hungry, and so it is hard. On the other hand, let's talk about distemper a little bit. When you do that, you could be bringing in a cat with distemper, and you know that it's a virus and it doesn't go away so easily.
Right.
You know, so you have to be careful when you're doing that, bringing a cat into your garage or around your house if your cats are outside cats, correct?
I try to educate people on the ferals. You know, it's not so much they're dangerous, but you got to know what you're dealing with. You know, because you don't know. You don't want to. If you actually do touch one, and you touch your house cat, you can bring whatever he has into your home.
Yeah, yeah.
So you gotta be a little careful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And, you know, I looked at this guy and thought, you're not really well, and I don't want to, you know, he wouldn't let me near him anyway, but it was kind of like after he was done and he had gone, the pans got thrown in the trash. He was like, I just don't know what you had. You just didn't look good. You know, he was an old beat up guy. So, but it's hard. You can see how people help the population increase by feeding them, but it's real tough to turn anybody away from your door when they're hungry.
Feeding and breeding is in the past. It's
yeah.
really, you know, if they're having babies, we got to stop. I mean, it's simple. This would all be a moot point if we had mandatory spay-neuter laws. Everything would fall into place. If people were, shame on them for abandoning animals, but if they were abandoning fixed animals,
I understand. I understand.
it would slow things down.
Yeah. Do you know of any, because somebody asked me this on one of the last programs, do you know of any local clinics? Are they in the paper? Is there a clinic that goes around? For a long time, I thought there was a clinic that would go around in like a minibus
Yeah,
and
the
do
team-
spay neuters. Do you have any names that you can give people
Yeah,
out there?
The team van will be a TEAM. The team van makes appointments around the state, and it's a mobile state spay-neuter
Neuter
unit.
clinic,
And one of the biggest facilities close to us here in Windsor is in Springfield, the Dakin Pioneer Valley Humane
Oh,
Society.
I know Dakin. They're good.
They're awesome. Joan Lamont is a animal control officer out in Mansfield, where they have mandatory spay-neuter law.
They do?
That she got passed. She has her own clinic over in Tolland, right off of 84, very easy to get to. And the New Hope Clinic in Plantsville. They just moved to Plantsville. Awesome people. Everything at these places are done on their own dime, on grants.
Wow.
But they give us a way to get these animals fixed at a reasonable cost.
Well, that's the issue, because then you deal with people going, well, I would adopt an animal, but I can't afford the spay-neuter. And it's like, you can't afford not to. You really can't afford not to. But if these people are doing it at a reasonable cost, that takes one part of the equation away, that you really have the responsibility. Because I will, and maybe I'm talking out of my shoe, I will bet most people that have dogs get them neutered or spayed.
Right.
Fixed, yeah. Because that would be, you know, that would be a tough thing to have a dog outside as you're walking it that's in heat, you know, and you have like 20 puppies.
Well, it seems
there.
like we have two separate classes between dogs and cats, and there shouldn't be. I'm a dog guy. I've You know, I lost my German Shepherd last December, and she lived with the cats, and it works well. But I see cats being treated like second-class citizens versus dogs, and you know, if there were 20 dogs behind a tobacco shed living in Windsor, the
People would be
community
screaming.
would come together and
Yeah.
get them out of there.
Yeah, yeah.
20 cats, they go,
Yeah.
eh, it's a cat.
And I don't.
Still a domestic animal
Yeah, yeah.
with humans.
Yeah, and what I don't understand is, well, I guess, you know, dogs are pack animals, and I think dogs more, quote, that, you know, you're the dog's master, but you're the cat's servant.
Right.
So I think people
Right.
might think, well, it's just a cat, but, you know, or yeah, somebody else will take you.
Well, they will
care.
survive better in the wild.
Yeah, oh yeah.
A dog
yeah,
won't.
Yeah. Yeah, they're much more resourceful. I have one that brings me, and she's, I hate to say this because it's in my house, but I have one that is a mouser. She is a big mouser, and now that it's getting cold, the mice are coming in the house, and she gets very insulted. You know, when I go, you know, one of those, but she's trying to feed me, you know. So yeah, they could probably survive a lot better finding little moles and voles and mice than a dog could. But you're doing wonderful work, and I know you're at Petco or PetSmart.
PetSmart up in Enfield.
Up in Enfield, and you're there on the weekends, is it, with adoptable cats?
My animals are housed all week, but I bring the kittens up.
The kittens,
that I have
okay.
on Saturday and Sunday. That's my official adoption hours. But
But
usually,
they have your other animals, some of your other animals there during the week, so when people come in, there's somebody there to...
right, and I'm there every night taking care of them.
Okay,
you know.
wow, that is dedication, Russ. That is dedication.
I
You know,
wake up in the morning taking care of them.
It's dedication, because I know with a Cat Connection, we're constantly looking for volunteers. I mean, it's a big job, you know, to clean up after them, to feed them, to kind of cuddle them every once, you know, they need
Make sure they're doing
cuddling,
good.
make sure they're okay. And then you brought some kitties in here that you're going to talk about and the problems they had and how much work you did have to put into it, and that these are three survivors. These are three survivors. So how hard is it to trap a feral cat? And I ask you about this because we did get that baby outside the building, and he was a toughie, this big, and he was like jumping up. He couldn't get out of the box; it was too high. We may put him in a box with a blanket and all, but he was, you know, jumping at us and hissing like, "Don't pick me up!" And eventually, he calmed down and let me pick him up and cuddle him. But how about the adult cats with teeth and claws that you are capturing?
Well, it's easy. The best way to handle a feral cat is not to handle it.
So how do you get them to
you-
come to where you need them to be to get them?
That's what food motivation is all about.
Okay.
When I have people that have ferals, are you feeding them? Well, no, my neighbor is. Then we need to get them either A, to your place, or B, talk to your neighbor. Because you get them on a schedule. And
They come around.
I don't start trapping a large colony the way most people start, with little have-a-heart traps. And you know, because by the time you get through 5 of them, the other 5 have seen what's
And
going on. And,
no dopes, not
so
me.
I have a lot of equipment. In
Yeah.
fact, my friend Betty has donated a lot of equipment to me. I've got 3x3 drop traps that you stand them up, like the old stick in the box,
Oh, yeah,
like you saw in the
yeah,
Wile E.
yeah.
Coyotes. And I'll put that trap standing up there for a few days and feed in front of it until they're comfortable walking around the thing. And then that one day it's tilted, and they and they go under.
Right.
But I can trap 3 or 4 at a shot.
Yeah, yeah.
And then transfer them into separate cages.
Yeah, because like you said, 15 trips, and they're no dopes. I try to get, the reason I ask is I try to get mine to get vaccinated, or if they're ill and they need to go to the vets, they really, I swear they're psychic, because I'll take the carrier up quietly. I'll hold the door so it doesn't rattle. I'll open the bathroom door downstairs. I'll put it upright. I'll open don't let it rattle, close the bathroom door. And the next morning, I go to get the one that has to go nowhere to be found. So I can't imagine 5 that don't even know you. I mean, the ones I have love me, but they don't trust me when it comes to that crate, you know, they just won't go in it. And it takes 2 of us to struggle to get them in. You know, they're doing one of these, you try to bring their hands in, you know, you get their feet, don't want to squish them. So I can't imagine trapping 15 cats when I know what I go through to get one to the vets. It's a painful experience for everybody. It's a painful, oh my gosh.
I got little scratches and
Okay.
nicks everywhere, but that's usually from them jumping off.
Yeah, they're not trying, they're trying to get away, they're panicked. Yeah.
Well, I mean, those are friendly cats.
Yeah,
Like I said, you don't handle feral cats.
Right, they're friendly cats. How many do you have yourself? I know you said you're a dog person,
I
but
don't
right now.
really have cats. Right now, like my bedroom, I've got 4 3 to 4 month olds that are socializing.
So you're trying to move them into other households and trying to get them adopted out rather than saying,
They're
these are
ready
going to
to be
stay here,
adopted
they're
now.
ready. Yeah.
That
yeah.
they graduate from the kitten room to my bedroom where,
Yeah.
you know, you're 1/3 of your life you're in your bedroom.
Yeah.
You know, theoretically.
Yeah.
So it
But not
actually
you.
is, yeah, no,
Not
I don't
you.
get that many hours of sleep. I wish I did. But they actually get used to you being in there and your
And your
scent.
smell.
And,
Yeah,
and,
your
they,
scent.
and next thing you know, we wake up in the morning and they're on the bed with you.
So, yeah.
So
So you
now-
now we've
Well,
got.
I just took, I don't want to say where, but I took 6 out of a place and surrendered them to another rescue because they needed to get out of where they were. One of them was too shy for adoption. I brought him home and, you know, had him fixed, brought him home, and took 2 days. Now he's hanging with the other ones.
He just needed that. I mean, I can imagine opening your bedroom door and having a wave of kittens. That's what I visualize. A wave of kittens coming at you,
Well,
you know?
the only wave is Ashley.
Oh.
The other ones are still like, what's going on? You know?
But not Ashley.
No, not
Not
Ashley.
Ashley.
No, no, no.
Well, you want to take them out and we can meet them and you can tell, you know, tell us about these 3
Let me
cats,
grab my
because they're all
lion
survivors.
tamer whip. No, it's not.
For little Ashley.
Well, let's see about Ashley. Let's see. You gonna come out, little one? Come here. She's a big one. Come here.
She decided she doesn't want a cameo,
Are you
Russ.
shy now? Huh?
Ah.
Come here.
And you talked about picking them up by the scruff because then they ball up because that's what Mama did.
Right.
Yeah.
Ashley does not like to be held too much because
Okay.
when she was 6 weeks old, she contracted distemper
Which
over the
kills,
summer.
what, 90,
I lost a lot.
99%?
Yeah, I lost a lot. She came back 3 times. I had to bring her back, and she's just a little survivor.
You're a lucky
She's-
lady, Ashley.
She is full of life,
Look
but
at
every time you pick her up, she thinks she's going to get poked, prodded, something put
yeah,
in her
because
mouth.
she was sick.
something put
Yeah,
up her-
because she was sick in the beginning.
Right.
Yeah.
And she is just, yeah, she won't like being handled. But
You want to go down, Ash?
yeah, let her run.
Ashley
Let her-
decided she really felt that she should. Did she get you?
No,
Oh.
but that's what will happen with her.
Yeah. So she's too interested. She doesn't want to deal with the pointer right now. So I guess we have all doors closed here, so we don't have Ashley disappearing.
Oh, no,
and seeing-
she'll come out as soon as she gets comfortable. There
Howard.
she is right there. Here,
Okay.
watch her come back. Come
This
on,
is a laser pointer, and Ashley has been trained to come to the laser pointer, and here she comes. You're right. Here she comes.
Oh, she's going to pounce. Watch her pounce. Wiggle the butt.
Oh, she's a nosy girl. No, she's too interested in all the new smells and all the new
she's
people.
got all kinds
and
of neat stuff around.
so-
Oh, she'll be back.
Okay.
If you actually leave her in the room by herself, she'll howl.
She
Because
gets.
she's always had companionship around. She'll ignore you and play by herself, but if you
Until
leave
you
the
leave,
room,
yeah.
she'll be like, "Hey, where'd you go?"
There's a void. Well, she just
Right.
did the same thing. We had a cat last month, called Snowball from Protectors of Animals. She just did the same thing. They're real interested in the curtains in the studio. What's behind them? Like Great and Powerful Oz.
Yes.
Yes. So Ashley's looking around. So you want to take the other 2 little guys out who also had very difficult lives?
Well, these guys came from Hartford. I actually lost their brother.
Do you want to see if
And-
they'll sit on the couch for their cameo shot?
Oh, yes. And I've spent the last 2 weeks getting them healthy again. This is
And
Rosemary
Rosemary.
and Honey.
Honey, what good girls. Now, now they're from the same litter, and Honey had real difficulties because you had a foster who was not quite familiar with what was going on, and
Right.
she suffered the consequences because the foster didn't realize that what you have to do to get a little kitten. The mother usually licks them in their back area to get them motivated to defecate. And she ended up having a blockage because she didn't, no fault to the volunteer. She just didn't know. She was good enough to take them,
Right.
the foster. But this little girl also had trouble. She came back a couple of times, and I saw a bottle in there, bottle feeding. Oh my gosh!
Well, that's in case they get. Rosemary is the most vocal little kitten.
Would you like a bottle? Would you like a bottle? You're so pretty. Somebody's going to get you soon. Would you like a bottle? No, Rosemary.
Well, I'll show you her. This is how Rosemary eats. Do you want
Up
your
on her
little
back
bottle?
feet, huh?
Well, it makes it easier.
Oh.
Well,
You don't want any more?
Oh, she's not hungry.
Okay, she's not hungry. And how about you, sweetheart? So this little girl had, she had a blockage, and Ashley had distemper, which is two things that's very hard to come back from for
Yeah.
kittens. So kudos to you because you really did the work to bring them back. And look at how healthy and pretty they are and ready to be adopted. How can people get a hold of you? I want to do it twice at least to let them know how they can get a hold of you, how they can get in touch with you about these kittens if they, and have to act fast. There she goes.
I'm partnered up with Connecticut Cat Connection, where most of my feral little kittens go. So contacting the Connecticut Cat Connection or calling me on my cell phone.
Okay.
My life is basically on the web.
Okay, so they can just go on the web and then click contact now, and that's and your it's Feral Cats of East Windsor.
feralcatsofeastwindsor.org
.org. Okay.
is my
.org.
website, and of course I'm on social media with Facebook.
Right,
and
right.
That's where you can follow my trappings,
Okay.
questions, any advice you need, adoptable kittens around, barn cats, anything you need, or even just I've had people who have done trap, neuter, and return, and they're just not sure on like shelters for their cats for the winter. Those are all important things. People worry that their cat's going to freeze in the winter, and I like to educate people that these animals that are born outside are the same as the squirrel and the raccoon that's born outside. They know. Most feral cats are beautiful. They know how to take care of themselves. When you see a cat that looks scraggly and is kind of friendly and meowing to you, that's a stray.
Yeah.
He
Okay.
needs
So,
help.
so you're saying that possibly somebody who came out of someone's house by accident, got lost in a thunderstorm, or whatever
Or
reason,
dropped off.
and that if they're friendly and
Well, hi,
come to you
Ashley.
meowing, yeah. Okay.
Right. Feral cats don't talk, and feral cats move around 2
Really?
inches off the ground.
Really, really. Okay, so that's good information. Now, at the risk of having you have 5,000 calls this week, or whenever this airs, it'll air next month. At the risk of having you have 5,000 calls, do you want to have 5,000 calls about trapping animals, or, I don't want to overburden you because I'm sure you'll get a lot of calls after this.
I just make lists. And,
Okay.
and what I can do is, I had groups that helped me in the beginning. Our Companions is one of the best groups in Connecticut.
John Thomas, good guy.
Yep. And I went to their trapping class, and that's where I learned. The Dakin Humane Society, we have a group up there that I'm a member of, Community for Network Cats. And TJO and Dakin have trapping classes where you can learn what you need to do and get the support you need. Some people are very shy about the trapping part of it, but really want to get help, we can set people up.
They're probably concerned about the trapping part of it, like, they're not going to get hurt, or are they going to get hurt? And I have to correct myself. I think Susan Linker's with Our Companion Animals out in
Yes.
Ashford. John Thomas is with Protectors of Animals in East Hartford. Both wonderful people doing
Yes.
wonderful
Yes,
work.
Protectors of the Animals is a very big group, too.
Yeah, big group. And do you have anywhere on your site that people can go and help with fundraising? I mean, this is a cost. It's a cost.
Yes.
Everything is a cost. Gas, traps, food, everything is a cost. So do
Yes.
you have a link on your website they could go to help donate? or
One of the pages is ways to help, and easy ways to help.
Easy ways to help.
Money is always the easiest way to help. But I find that most of the people that need the help or want to help are the more poorer. And so now my 501 finally came through, so now I can apply for grants so I can help others.
Right.
It's our town. Our town here had Our Companions come in, I believe, in one block and helped, and animal control worked with them, and took a bad situation and made it better. Trap, neuter, and return doesn't fix anything; it makes it better.
Right,
And then
right.
slowly,
Right.
through natural attrition, the colony goes down. It helps with the behaviors, and it's all the neighbors. If one neighbor is feeding all these cats, and then there's 40, the rest of the neighborhood has a right to be angry.
Right. And also, I think if, like with any unfixed animal, I think they can get very aggressive.
Right.
I'll never forget the first time I let my cat out. Now, my cats are all inside cats now, but I adopted an outside cat. who was happy to be inside, for, but she liked sitting on the back porch. Didn't realize because she was so young that she was going into her first heat until I looked outside and saw male cats that I had never, there must have been 20 on my back porch.
Yes.
And she's up on the railing and I'm like, where did these, it was like a Fellini movie, a really bad Fellini movie. I said, look at these animals, where'd they come from? Well, one got her. And it was so funny because I thought, well, what are the chances she's pregnant? And then my husband said, real large.
Real large.
Real large, that she's pregnant.
Very large.
Very large. Well, doesn't this male cat, beautiful furry Maine Coon type thing, come back the next day and kind of look in the window, put his arms up with the paws up, like, hey, are you okay? Are you in there? Are you okay? He hung around for a little bit. But, yeah, she was pregnant with about 7 babies.
Yeah.
So and I saw very aggressive behavior, which concerned me, about her being up on that railing, waiting for those male cats to go away, which they, all but one did.
They
But
go away after she's out of heat.
yeah. Well, he did come back and check. At least he was a gentleman. I felt he was very gentlemanly about it. He came back, see how she was doing. So this little girl, how old is she now?
She's almost, she'd say 8 weeks old now.
So is she tiny for 8 weeks? She seems tiny
Yeah,
because of
she
her
is a
problems.
little tiny. Yeah. When they get sick, like Ashley's 6 months old and she looks like a 4-month-old kid.
Yes, that's true. She is a very tiny cat.
She didn't grow for that month of that she was sick, and she had a lot of problems. She had a prolapsed rectum.
God.
She was a mess.
And here she is, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
Yeah, behind the curtain, by the way.
Behind the curtain. I tell you, they think something's back there. I'm not quite sure.
Rosemary, get back here.
They are so
See,
adorable.
this laser pointer is the best training tool. I use this for feral cats. The feral kittens will chase the red dot right up to my foot where I can pick them up.
Well, that's good because mine will. I have one very shy cat. He'll do it a foot away from me. You know what I mean? He's just, there you go. Rosemary, what a good girl.
And that's
So-
how we reel them in.
That's how you reel them in. Boy, you're a sucker for it every time. So these two are about ready to be released from foster care into the adoptive community if we can get them
Yes.
adopted. These you take to Petco on the weekends, right? Or PetSmart on the weekends.
PetSmart, I can only bring animals that have been altered, so these guys won't make
not
it to
yet?
PetSmart.
Okay.
Believe it or not, they're at an age where we can fix them at 2 pounds. Not we, the Bacon Humane Society.
Right.
They've got a very high-tech team up there.
And Dakin is in Springfield, Massachusetts?
Yes.
Okay, so we want to make sure all these people get credit in case anybody's listening or looking for spay clinic, or people that are doing wonderful work. If you want to donate over the holidays, believe me, I work with Russ through the Connecticut Cat Connection. We need money for everything, from food to, the vet bills for a year for someplace like that can run $30,000, $40,000.
Yeah.
Easily,
Well,
30, 40.
I rescued a stray from the streets of Windsor Locks, South Main Street. She was 4 months old and hit by a car in front of the family. Nobody would do anything for the family. They contacted me.
You're pretty girl.
She was in good shape as far as, she was a little in shock, but her eyes told me she was in good shape, but she had a broken leg.
Yeah.
My supporters, in 3 days, we raised $1,500 for her surgery. Mathematically, that doesn't make sense to spend $1,500 on a cat. Very friendly cat, Rosemond.
Oh, Rosamund.
Rosamund. She's in foster care right now.
Rosamund.
We collected the money for her surgery, but I'm adopting her out for $99.
Right. But again, you can't not do.
Right.
Come back to your website. The worst thing is for people to see a need and not do anything about it. And everything has a right to life. Every creature here has a right to life. And if you can help them, and like you said, it was a survivable thing. I mean, there are times when we have to I just put a 17-year-old cat down. It killed me, but it was the kindest thing to do. She was getting very, very ill, stopped eating, constant vomiting, and it was time, and it's hard. But when you have a baby who's got a whole life ahead of it,
Yes.
that's worse. That's worse.
And the other one that with Rosamund, she'll be coming into the adoption process soon. And because of the generosity of my followers, we were able to get her surgery done. I couldn't afford to do that.
Oh, no.
You know, I barely can feed myself, never mind feed
Oh, I
these
mean,
guys.
we all pay so much out of pocket, for the animals. I mean, when things come up at the shelter at times, it's like, I'll
Right.
donate it. I'll donate it because, they just don't have it. But there's a limit to what you can do as a single person, too. Would you like to face the camera now that you're getting real skitsy here? Come on. Face the camera. Say hello. Say hello. Say hello. So you want to give us information about the feral cats just one more time, your phone number and, where they can go to reach you. And I might have another question or two.
Yeah, well, my number is 860-982-3303. It's been the same number for many years,
Okay.
and it's on all my websites, and I'm one person. So some people get angry that I can't drop what I'm doing to help them, but I've got 4 other people in front of them.
Right, and calling you, right.
And that's the hardest part. By getting people that can help do what I do, that's going to help. Or just getting the people to, I've gotten people, okay, I'm going to leave you a trap and just, we got everybody except one. So you
Right,
got to
right.
keep working this one trap.
And a little bit, it's especially if you've been feeding them, it's your responsibility too, is what you're saying.
Well, state law, you feed them, you own them.
Yeah. Well, okay. Now that brings me to a good question. If you are, like you said, you see a cat outside, you can't not feed them. Would you suggest people just not feed the feral colonies? I mean, how do people make a decision? Like a stray cat, you say, it comes to your door. I've had them. They come to my door. They're hungry. They're thirsty. I feed them.
You ain't leaving.
Yeah, they now. Matter of fact, one's up to 2 cans a day. He eats more than my and he has a breakfast time and a dinner time and gets real annoyed when I'm not there, right at his breakfast or dinner.
Yeah.
So how do you suggest people who really want to help do it?
If they want to help, they have to go beyond feeding them. Feeding and breeding doesn't work. If you're not going to go the next step, which is making sure the animal's fixed, and if you want to feed him, then you're going to take care of him. If he's going to live in your backyard, give him a little place to stay.
Right. We've got kitty condos. My husband, one time, it was the funniest thing, and I still tease him about it. I found him with our cat, our Insight, which didn't want other cats in the house, between his knees, and he was measuring the circumference of her head when I came home. And I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Well, the cat that's a stray cat outside has about the same head size as her, and I want to cut a hole into the condo to make it just big enough for him to get in." And he's measuring the circumference. He's an engineer,
Oh, that's right.
of her head. And I'm like, so we had a kitty condo on the porch, exactly the circumference that he felt a cat could get into. But he's got a
But he didn't want anything else to get in there. That's what
well, he's an engineer. He thinks about this. But, he did the whole putting padding inside and, so it wouldn't get cold and insulation but measuring the cat's head. I said, couldn't you just it's about this big? And she's sitting real
engineers don't do about.
I know. Well, see, I'm not an engineer, but she was really patient. She's sitting there and he's got the tape measure. She's looking, can you imagine I'm doing this, Mom? How embarrassing, Well, they are healthy enough to want to play. Little bottle-fed baby.
A week ago she wasn't, but now she's doing very
So
well.
it's been that close. It's
Yeah.
been that close for her.
Yeah. No, rescue work is not for the faint of heart.
No,
Really not.
no, and especially, Russ, and we talked about this earlier, it's one thing, you're rescuing, you do get attached, and then you have to give them up, and that's very difficult. I mean, I was talking to my mother, and she said, how do you go in? I can't go into shelters because I cry. And I said, but how do you not? I mean, if everybody felt like that, and I understand she's very sensitive, and she's adopted from shelters,
Right.
How do you not? If everybody felt that way, then where would we be, And I always think after I leave and I get upset if one of them got sick and died or, one of them acted out.
What was that?
Well, one's chasing the other under the curtains. Now they're playing under the curtains. But, if not you, who? Which is come back to your original, if you disregard things, you're not making it better. So.
With fostering, it's once you get through that first one, you get your foster failure out of the way.
Right? I did everything wrong.
And then you can move on, because I look at it differently. I'm helping them to the next home.
Right.
Now I can help someone else, because if I keep everyone and I tried to help,
Right. that would be a hoarder situation. It would
Right,
be worse.
right.
It would be, so if now I do know, again, you're up in Enfield at the PetSmart,
PetSmart.
with your older cats, and then your kittens, when they're ready, you take them in on the weekends. Is there any way, say, somebody sees this and wants to call you about one of these kittens, like that little bugger back there, Rosemary, she's having a good time. Can they call you and then just, I mean, do you?
Yeah, make an appointment.
Okay.
And a lot of times I have them in foster care where, okay, let's make
have
an
to go and
appointment to
get-
go see the
okay.
foster care.
Do you need more fosters? That's the other thing we talk about here. If you
Always.
need volunteers, you
Yes.
know, aside from needing money, we need
Even the
people who'll
older
just
cats.
take them in.
Even some of the older cats that
Oh,
are,
yeah.
and that's why when we adopt out kittens, we're more strict with someone this size than that's 4 or 5 months old. I won't let a single kitten like this go into a home without another animal,
Yes, because they are playful and they need companionship.
and they need socialization.
Socialization, yeah.
Need
Yeah.
to learn from other
Yeah.
animals.
A lot of people did say, oh, you know, well, they'll come in when we have a splurge of kittens in the shelter. You know, we say you can't take one unless you have you know, I had a teenager cat in my house, but I did take 2 more kittens because they do. And I can tell the difference because the two little ones that I took in, they're about a year old now, but they chase each other in the morning. It's like a racetrack. You know, they grab onto the rugs and they go, and off they go. So yeah, it would have been important. It would have been if I only had one of them.
important for
They
their
wouldn't.
social.
Their social life, their social skill, and it's funny as heck to watch them play together. You know, it's always, I always say, joking, not joking when one of them starts screeching. You know, you can say it's
Yeah.
not, what's the matter? Why are you unhappy? You unhappy? You want to go over to Dad? You want to go over to Dad?
Ashley and Rosemary are playing
They're
under the
playing.
camera.
There you go. Say hello. So, and how long have you been doing this, Russ? I think I asked you in the beginning, but I don't know if I got an answer.
4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years? And it was because of the passel of cats in your house.
Right, right.
Yes.
What
And-
did it squiggle?
Let's see. You're going to take
Squiggle?
your bottle? You going to take your bottle? Let's see if the other ones will come up to get a cameo before we stop. Hey, Ashley. Come on, baby. Nope. There's too many more interesting things here. Too many more
No, she
interesting.
spotted something over there, but I'll reel her in.
You'll
Here we
reel her
go.
in.
Here we go. Come on.
Boy, that's something I should have learned. My cats will play with it, but I don't reel them in. They stop short because they know I'm going to grab them when I play with the
So
pointer. They just stop about a
They're
foot
a little
away.
older and smarter.
Yeah, I think they're older, smarter, and they know exactly what my arm span is, and they just stop out of it. So,
Well, cats are very independent.
yeah. So you're also associated with, again, you're associated with Dakin. You're associated with, I know, because I see you at Cat Connection, and we talked about one of our cats, Red Robin, getting adopted. So we're really grateful for all of the wonderful shelters and people like you. I mean, a big, huge part of your life is doing this.
It is my life.
It is your life. It is your life, and you do it so well. I mean, these little ones that you see
Where you
here
going?
today would not have been here with us if it hadn't been for us. And look how cute. How can you turn that little face away?
Rosemary, where are you going? One of the best things is what people can do is adopting a shelter pet, because when you adopt a shelter pet, you actually save 2 lives.
Because then you would save the life of somebody who can now take the place. Yeah, yeah.
You bring one home, and you make room for us to save
Bring one
another.
more. Yeah, yeah.
You know.
And we're doing, we're doing a lot of marketing for these shelters, but always we need more volunteers. Russ needs volunteers. We need volunteers at the Connecticut Cat Connection. I'm sure any shelter you would call would be happy to have a volunteer, and even if it's just to socialize the babies, scoop, feed, if you can do it, medicate. Basically, a lot of our volunteers just cuddle and socialize. But you'd be amazed. I do the laundry when I get to the Cat Connection. Oh my God! I can say we need industrial washers and dryers because there's laundry every day because we take the pads out of the cages and covers and
I
pillowcases. So even something like that, if you don't want to do anything else, but go in and do a couple loads of laundry, it's so appreciated.
Well, even your local dog pound. I'm calling them dog pounds.
Well, yeah,
Animal
we should
control.
talk about that a little bit
But
because it's
even like the Enfield Animal Control, Windsor Animal Control, they take donations too because it's gonna help the animals that are there, because if they take in and I'm saying mostly cats, but even dogs, when they take an animal in, there's a limited amount of time they're keeping that animal because of the town budget.
yeah, right.
We can't afford, they're not housing animals.
So
if you
it's a
make
death
donations to
sentence if
them-
they don't move, as you're saying. It's going to be a death sentence if they
Right,
don't
so
move.
if they get donations of food and litter, and cats take more money to take care of than dogs.
Right.
You know, the litter alone. And if they get a donation of something, it's easier for them to keep the animal a
Right.
little longer.
Right.
And
And I think
so
that's what
you're
people don't
helping.
people don't understand. So if you cannot physically donate your time, there's always food, there's litter, plastic bags even, because we have to empty that litter into something, puppy pads, if there's, anything that we can.
Anything animal related
Right.
can go anywhere, because if like me, when somebody donates me dog toys, I don't have dogs, but you know what?
Somebody's going to.
I know dog people.
Right.
know.
Dog toys or cat toys, or we got a wonderful donation of a very large cat playground at the Connecticut Cat Connection, which is really so well used by them. I mean, they're all over the place, and they're up, and they want to look out windows, and they want to get up off the floor. So anything that you can do is wholly appreciated by any of these shelters. And please do look up Russ. It's the Feral Cats of East Windsor.org. And I just want to make sure that we all know where Russ is and who he is, because he has donated his life to this cause, not just a part-time. He does it full-time. And anything that you can do would be very much appreciated. Russ, you want to give him do you want to email? Do you want to be contacted
I
by
have
email?
I have an
All right, so
email
give your
address,
email and give your phone number again, just in case.
Nomad, Nomad 237 at cox.net.
That's your email, okay.
And that's also my PayPal account.
Oh, okay.
Because we take donations that way. There's another feral colony down in Georgia, Dracula, Georgia. I've met these people through Facebook. Their feral colony is called Love Bridge. They've donated money to me.
Okay, and generally, and not saying anything about Georgia, generally, not the feral colonies, but the cats and dogs that come up from shelters in Georgia I'm trying to be careful saying this. A lot of the southern states don't have that kind of regard in their shelters. I've been in one of them. Yeah.
It's
But
tough down there.
It's tougher. It's
But there's
very
a lot
tough
of
for
good
them
people.
to. Yeah.
You know, my firm belief is it takes 5 people to undo the evil of one.
Yeah, and
Which
so
leads me to believe there's more good people than bad.
I believe that. Like, the people you meet, just the people that you meet doing this, and the people that call you because even though it's not their cat or kitten, they don't want to see them hurt. So yes, I do believe that. So please, people, go on to Russell's website or go on to any of the shelters that we've talked about today. It's important. The holidays are coming. We even help with food for some people. There are people out there that collect food. So if you have lost your job, you don't have to give up your pet. Anything that you can do to help. All you have to do
The
is
food bank here in Windsor,
the
right?
food bank here in Windsor does that. Okay, I didn't know that. I know I saw the police collecting food up in Stop and Shop Plaza for them. So even something like a can of food or a litter or a bag of hard food for dogs or cats, very helpful. So Russ, I just want to say before we go too, if you have any of your own stories, please go to sheltertales, TAILSCT@gmail.com and tell us about them, and maybe we can have information about your baby that you adopted and how well they're doing on the next program. And please, again, go to any of these shelters that we talked about today. Every one of them needs help, no matter if you think 20 million other people are doing it. You should go to if you have a chance. Russ, I appreciate your comment today, and I appreciate everything you're doing.
Oh, thank you.
And I know we'll run into each. I run into you every, every time I turn around. It seems like either that or I hear your name coming up. So you're very well known in the community, and I'm sure I'll see you through Connecticut Cat Connection. They're moving.
Well,
They're moving, so I'm sure you'll be up there.
Actually just closed on the property.
And I think they're looking for volunteers this weekend for painting and things like that. They're up on, I don't even know
It's
what
right off of Rainbow Road, the old mill that used to be up by the dam. I'm not sure the name of the street. I have to.
But it's up by Hamilton Sunstrand, up off of 75.
It's right across from Hamilton
okay.
Road.
Hamilton Road, okay.
Cross
okay.
Rainbow and go right down our. It's very exciting. Hopefully we get things done so we can do it right. And
We
then-
talked about bigger social rooms. We talked about a medical room, because right now, the
Right.
medicated cats are downstairs,
Right.
and they should really be up and see the sun, but you have to keep them out of the general population until you get them well. And
Cross-contamination's
yeah,
the biggest-
a big fear in shelters, I know.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get rid of ringworm, and it's hard to get. Oh, I'm sorry. She's not going to want to deal with me too. I just knocked her in the head. She took it very well. So, but thank you so much for coming.
Thank you
and
so
thank
much.
you for what you're doing. That's the most important thing. And I'm sure that we'll try to get you on again sometime with more babies and an update on how these two did.
Yeah.
These guys got adopted. So, well, I don't know if Howard's getting this, but these little kitties are jumping all over the place for this. Come on up. Come on up. Come on up.
Well, you gonna run for me, honey?
Come on up.
Well, hopefully they have a home by the weekend.
Did you find the other one?
They're all over
Oh,
here.
they're all over the places. Come on, come
Yeah,
on.
now she's behind over there, and Ashley's ready to roll with her little dot.
Say hi, Jenny. Say hi, Jen. Did you go visit Jenny? Did you go visit Jenny? So that's a spunky little cat. They're feeling okay. They're feeling okay.
No, they're doing very well.
You're doing good.
And Ashley is, when she gets comfortable, she's an awesome cat. Like I says, I think she's home. She'll be the foster failure for this
She's
foster.
the foster failure. They're the people that keep the cat. I'm going to foster this cat just for a while. Now you fall in love. That's the reason. I have a really hard
You
time.
got to get that foster failure out of the way.
I know. I've got 4 foster failures.
Okay, well,
Okay,
yeah,
it didn't
you
work.
got to learn
too much.
eventually.
No, yeah, that's what my husband says. Learn eventually, Connie, learn. So I don't want to be measuring any more cats' heads. So please join us next time for Shelter Tales, another version of Shelter Tales. And please don't hesitate to send to sheltertalesct@gmail.com any of your stories about animals that you've adopted or fostered. We could share them on the next program. And again, Russell, thank you for everything you do. Everything you do. I mean, it is a life for you, and not too many people are that dedicated. Appreciate it. Please take a look at Russell's website, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.